Okay, everybody. Thank you all for coming and welcome to the Brand.bar Happy Hour chat on the road. I am here with Eric Lyon and we are in Cypress, Texas. And now I'm sure you all know Eric as the CEO of the CAO of NamePros.com. Sorry about that, Eric. And also, Eric is the founder and owner of the Scorpion Agency. I'm going to volley it over to him and let him tell us more about himself. Also with his cool ringtone.
Bad timing.
But that's a really cool
question,
ringtone.
one more time.
Yeah, I'm going to volley over to you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself?
Yes.
I don't like talking about myself.
Just a little bit. Just a pinch.
Just a pinch? Gosh. I've traveled most of my life. I got involved in domain investing back in 2005. I've covered a lot of this in other interviews and also on NamePros itself, where I started with my own brand, which is the Scorpion Agency back then, and that's how I got involved in domains from there. The first domain I purchased was a .ws, and that was a bad choice, right?
.ws.
Yeah, that was a bad choice, I know. And then I learned more that, hey, you know what? The .com is available, and it's been available, and I invested in that. Eventually, a few years later, I dropped the .ws, kept the .com, and started, buying a lot more domains and developing those.
What is the .ws? What country code is that one?
West Samoa?
West Samoa? I thought I just saw something recently in some kind of article about that particular extension.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But I'm really glad that you're able to join me, and I hope that your drive was a good one. It's a nice day outside.
Oh, so. It's a beautiful day out there.
Yeah. Cool. So, you guys, we're going to ask Eric some questions. Nothing is going to be different. We're just sitting right next to him, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So, I wanted to first mention your transformation. I know recently you had...
Wait, what transformation?
What transformation? I don't know. Can you guys see the picture of Eric here on the slide? That was before, and this is now. You want to tell us about it?
It's mostly just personal preference.
Yeah.
I'm a free spirit. I like to be free. I like to be different. I don't like to be trapped in a little box along with everybody else in the world. I'm that 1% that's different than the other 99% of society, and I prefer it that way. And this is just my way of expressing my creativity and being myself.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe most domainers fit into that 1% category, since none of us can really be
I don't know.
put into a box?
I couldn't begin to speculate on putting anybody in a box or taking anybody out of a box. Only each individual person can decide who they are and where they want to be. I know that there's a lot of investors that are trapped in that corporate circle. They're working that 9 to 5, and they can't stop chasing their tail. So I would have to say no then. I would have to say no. A lot of them are not that 1%.
Yeah.
Sadly, but hopefully more of them can be.
Yeah,
where
one day.
where they can, work off their laptop like you do or I do or some of the others do and not be tied down to that 9 to 5. That's what it's all about. I don't have to check in and risk losing my job because I have blue hair or because I have a ring in my nose.
Yeah.
I dictate my own hours, and that's just the way it is.
That's a little bit of, I guess, a part of the freedom of doing this. And anyone who's still in the corporate life, whose goal or aim is to do this 100% on their own, be their own boss, have their own hours, work on the beach if they'd like.
Right, exactly.
It's possible. So, okay, so I was going to ask you if your end user outreach includes a lot of face-to-face interactions. Like we're talking now, but do you do this a lot? Do you actually meet other domainers and maybe other end users on those face-to-face?
It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going to get more on the road and get more into traveling and meeting a lot of the NamePros members and other investors face-to-face, shaking hands, sitting down for lunch, all the above. But as of right now, it's more of once every 2 months, once every 3 months, I'll sit down with a NamePros investor that I met in person, whether it's in San Antonio, surrounding area, on the way to Vegas, back from Vegas, or wherever we're going that year. But I do some face-to-face, not as much as I'd like right now.
Okay, and then you just mentioned a few moments ago that we're about to get on the road, and I want to take this moment to say that we are joined by Eric's fiance. She's a really lovely woman. I got a chance to sit down and chat with her and talk with her, and the two of them together, these well, they're not newlyweds yet, but very soon to be newlyweds, are actually going to be traveling the road together and doing this business, and that's really exciting. Another great part of not being in that little box.
Exactly.
So can you tell us about NamePros?
NamePros, established in 2003. It caters mainly to resellers because resellers are the ones that have the money to invest, trying to make more money. I mean, it's all about, buy low, sell high, right?
Yeah.
We do have some of the end users that roam in the shadows looking for a really good deal on a domain they don't want to pay more for at auction somewhere else. So they'll come on to NamePros and find some of the domains. But mainly NamePros is there to help facilitate and teach some of the newer domain investors in the market on what the industry is about, how to go about investing in a domain, what the process is, and take it from there. I'd like to add that we are in the process of rolling out a domain education manual of sorts.
Oh.
I've written about 59 to 60 articles now for that. That's coming in the near future. As of right now, I believe that is going to be a free course, so
that's
nobody will have to pay for that.
Even better, yes, and would be such a great resource to have. You just mentioned that some end users sometimes come on to NamePros as well. How do they find it? Are you guys doing some kind of marketing effort that brings the end users in, or how do they usually stumble upon NamePros? Google.
Search engines, right.
Wow, okay, cool. So I'm wondering, how can you tell us, or I guess we'll have some people who are watching our chat who are new to the industry, and they're trying to figure out their way, trying to find a path, figure out, which way to go when it comes down to domain investing. Can you tell us, I guess, how participation in domain name forums can help a new domainer?
Domain name forum?
Yeah.
You mean in NamePros?
Yeah, like NamePros, yeah.
In any domain
any forum.
In general.
Yeah, like being a part of that community, talking with one another.
Well, it's not only the new investors that you're going to run into there, but it's the veterans that are going to be helping a lot of the newer investors that actually take their time, and you got to love them for it, out of their busy schedules and their days to help out a lot of the newer investors. So you've got millions of members. I can't say half of which are veterans, but you still have a good percentage of those million members that are veterans. They're contributing content on how they do things, what was successful for them. And it's just great reading material for any new investor to participate in that, ask questions, read the material, and learn. Okay. Now, no matter what you learn, though, or what you read, hands-on is always going to be the best. So read what you want, but go out there and test it a little bit before you go head first. Just take a little piece and
exactly, because still anything you learn or hear from someone, it still should be considered kind of loose and a little bit of advice,
right.
Not actual hey, go do this. You still have to make your own choices. There you go. When it comes down to what you're going to do.
What works for one won't work for another, exactly.
What level of experience do you think can be found among the NamePros members?
Level of experience?
Yeah, I'm sure we have.
From the $1 register, flipping it for $5, to the $5,000 investor that's flipping to $50,000. I mean, there's some members that participate or that just lurk in the shadows that have made $1 million deals. So it really varies in what our memberships consist of.
Okay. And is there a cost associated with it?
It's free. You can be a free member. We have paid memberships as well, depending on what type of services you need or benefits.
Okay. And I guess I was thinking more of, say you're a business coming on to NamePros and you want to be able to, I guess, advertise a certain portfolio or look for a particular type of name. Is there a way?
We have a free marketplace for that. But
okay. So there's a free marketplace. And can you advertise in there?
We do have sections for people to advertise. We also have paid advertising spots if you want more exposure.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you more now about your domain sales. Like, what has been your most successful method of closing a sale?
Most successful method. I
Hmm.
don't really have a most successful method that I could really throw out there. Most of my stuff I would list on NamePros
Hmm.
because I just don't believe in going other places to sell my names. Most
Yeah.
of the stuff is through Who Is. People will contact me, so it's not me outreaching to somebody
Right.
else per se. Um, Email correspondence is my number one method, really.
When they if they send you an email trying to inquire about a particular domain name, do you send them a cost or a price right off, or do you like ask them to send you an offer? Like, how do you negotiate with them?
It really depends. You got to feel it out. I mean, if
Yeah.
somebody comes to you for the domain, you're not approaching them.
Hmm.
Usually they have some kind of number in mind. So you ask, okay, well, did you have a budget in mind that you were looking at staying in? It really depends on how they approach, though. Like I said, sometimes I'll just toss out a number, what I think that the domain is worth,
Hmm.
and then I will open it up for a counter, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, let's talk about
Mhm.
monetization, like how we can, uh, like different methods we can use to make money when
Right,
it's not just, I guess, selling our domains. Because we
right.
both know that may be something that some people are successful at doing every single day, and it might
Mhm.
be some people have one sale a month or one sale every 3 months. I
Yeah.
don't know, but what are some other monetization strategies you use?
Okay. Well, I can only talk for myself. I just wrote an
Mm-hmm.
article about this actually. Um, Services is one of my big ones.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to use doorway pages that pull leads to feed my services. That's my number one thing is I develop everything that I own, and it just kind of works in a fine little circle. Downloadable goods, instant
Mm,
downloads.
okay.
Those are very beneficial for everybody. One click, once you upload it, it's one click, purchase, download. It's good forever unless it's a one-time purchase. So you can work on both those, either unlimited or one-time sales for copyrights. I'm
Okay.
mostly in the design industry, so a lot of the stuff that I sell and the products I have, others may not if they're not in that industry. So, like I said, I can only speak for myself.
Right. Okay.
But vector packs that a lot of designers use or marketers that they need to put together a flyer, I sell packs like that. That would be one of my downloads. My services consist of corporate identity, illustrative services. I've designed coins for some of the UK military, their
Wow.
challenge coin series, those kind of
Wow.
things, T-shirts. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to be getting into stock photography once we start traveling more. So those usually sell between $1 to $30 each, and it's an income that just keeps going. It's not a one-time sale. It's an ongoing sale
Okay.
process. But like I said, everybody does it different. I mean, some people are looking for affiliates. I never liked affiliate things. I do a little bit of PPC, pay per click. I find that works out well if you strategically place your links in your content because a lot of people avoid the banners.
Okay. When you do your development, is it all an actual full-on website, or do you do landing pages? How do you feel about landers?
It just depends. It really
Yeah, it
depends.
depends
I
on
have
the
I have a little bit
domain.
of everything
Yeah.
because I like to get my feet wet, stick my toes in the water, test it
Hmm.
out, trial and error, figure out what
Okay.
works and what doesn't. Um, I have three big sites, and all the rest of them are either 5-page mini sites that just generate leads and then push them to the main sites, or they're landers.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you, and I think we might have talked a little bit about this before the
Mhm.
chat, about your most valuable and reliable domaining tool. What do you use?
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't really have a domain tool that I use consistently as much
mhm.
as I use NamePros itself
Yeah.
because I like to do everything manually. I don't like, yeah, I don't have a use for like a list sorter to just
Yeah.
sort it out
Mhm.
and pull out names that somebody else might have liked that programmed that software or that go by a keyword that I just no, I go out there and I manually look for it. I take the time. I do the research on each one of them to figure out what's good, what's hot, what's not, and invest in that. And then I develop it right afterwards. My method is a little different than everybody else. Some people are going to go for the short 3 letters. Some people are going to go for traffic. Some people are
Yeah.
going to go. Everybody's a little different. That's just me personally. I like to go in and do the work.
Okay, and when you're looking for names, are you looking based on trends, or are you looking for like what?
Services for me.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
looking for
services. You're
services.
in more into
Right.
services. Geo.
I love Gios.
Geo services.
Yes. I find that
Cool.
Gios convert way better than anything else. I even go for long tail Geos.
Oh,
Like one of
okay.
my examples was San Antonio logo.com. I also own San Antonio logo designer.com, which is a little bit
Oh, okay.
longer, but
Yeah.
that's a geo, it's a service, it's targeted. One of them feeds leads to the other, and it works out great that way.
Do you do any lead generation? Like, say, let's, I guess, talk about maybe an area like real estate. Say you had a San Antonio realestate.com.
Mhm.
Would you build that one to actually generate leads for a particular realtor, or how would you build something like that?
Well, see, that's going to be a different answer for everybody. How I would do it would be
Mm-hmm.
different. Now, the options they would have is to contact a realtor and see if they have an affiliate program, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because then that way they can pull the lead and instantly refer it online to the affiliate program or the API that they give you to install in your site,
Right.
so that they can do the application right there and get approved, then you get paid. Then you can also use paid ads to go on there. I wouldn't do that at all. I would try to find an actual agent locally within the region you just geo-targeted,
Mm-hmm.
and go in person, do a handshake, because just like car dealers, the salesmen are going to give you what's called a bird dog fee. So you can grab that lead, pass it to them. If they make a sale, you get the bird dog
Oh,
from them. That way,
okay.
it's more of an in-person hello meet
Right.
and greet.
Okay.
It's not one of the yeah. That's
And
what I
you'd
would do is go for
probably
the
be
bird
more
dog.
successful based on that, I guess, that personal interaction, like
Mhm.
having one particular
That
realtor
you deal
that
with,
you
just
actually
one,
work with.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
What about people who have, or companies, I'll say, and I'm going to stick with this real estate thing because it was it was an easy example.
Right.
Say you have a realtor or real estate firm in San Antonio, and they don't really have that great of a domain, but you happen to have the San Antonio realestate.com domain. Would you approach that company, or I mean, what would be your, would you feel like you have more of a, I guess, more value approaching the company and trying to sell it to them, or would you wait around and see if they ever themselves think, hey, my domain is not really that great, maybe I
Depends.
should call them
It
up?
depends on if I'm getting ready to infringe on a trademark or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't invest in anything that's going to infringe in a trademark in the first place. But if I did, I would definitely not approach somebody that already has a trademark and what I'm getting ready to try to sell them. That's just setting myself up to lose it.
Okay.
You know, no, no, thank you. If it's more generic and I'm just trying to help them pull leads, help them
Right.
build a lead generator to feed themselves, then I'd probably research their company a lot. I'd take at least 2 weeks to research who they are, who their target market is, how this is going to benefit them. I would put it all out, plain black and white, so they can read it, put it in a little
Right, they
folder,
can see.
go meet them in person, and break it down to them and say, this is why, this is where it's at, this is who you are, this is your competition, this is where you're going to be better than them, and this is where your leads are
Right.
going to come from, this is how it works. And then we can start talking about price last.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
what I'm more thinking about when we talk about the geo names. I'm not saying that there couldn't be any trademark names out there, but
Mhm.
I would think something more like San Antonio real estate would not be trademarked. What do you think?
It depends, I guess. Some people say real estate. No, that's
I think
realtor
realtors is a trademark.
Realtor is
Right,
trademark.
definitely.
So you should be fine with real estate, I
Yeah,
would think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I didn't want to riddle you with too many
Yeah.
questions. I think that we did well with some of what we covered here. But what I want to do is I want to go over and open up the chat window and see if anyone here has any questions for
Okay.
you.
Sure.
Okay, let's go take a look. Let me unmute here. Sorry about that. Any questions? Chris, did you have a question for us? Or Carson?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've used long tail keyword domains to great effect and had good success with those too. And lately I've been looking at sales and marketing funnels, and I'm wondering if you've looked at that at all for bringing those leads into businesses, like small businesses that don't know a lot about marketing. Do you think they're open to like marketing automation and some of these things that bigger companies are using already?
Lead automation for targeted geos?
Yeah, like you set up a lead capture page and then
Right.
have it go into their CRM program and
There's definitely a use for it.
Yeah, treat it like
But
a big
do
company.
you already have it? Do you already have a plan on how you're going to capture and house these leads? You're putting them all in a database, and then you're going to try to sell it to companies after you get a certain amount, or are you talking taking each individual lead to a company and feeding it straight to them, like with one of their APIs?
Yeah, I'm talking about setting up a CRM for a small business,
Right.
Working with them one-on-one, set up a CRM, set up lead generation, capture pages,
Right.
and have those leads coming in to their system so that it's operating like these big companies are already doing, but for a small business, trying to help them, grow with more serious marketing efforts.
I definitely think there's a market for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't really set it up, but I'm just learning about it, so I'm thinking it's worth a shot.
I agree, for sure.
Cool.
I think you should take that and run with it. Yeah.
Yes, it wouldn't be something that everyone is doing, so that's even better.
Right.
Wide open market there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking for, something that not everyone's doing.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions?
What did you think of this guy trolling you on LinkedIn?
Do I think of what now?
This guy that was trolling you on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah. No, that's just funny, really. I was laughing the whole time. No, sitting around a campfire doing a powwow, yeah, and then he started naming kids' names. Really? Okay, whatever, bro. Whatever. I don't think I want to go there with him. So.
Yeah. Well, there's all types out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It took a lot of effort to pull myself out of that and not continue.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just left it at that. I figure the point got across already.
All right. So if there aren't any further questions, I think we're going to let Eric get going. And I want to thank you again, though, for coming and hanging out with me. And I'm glad that I got to meet your fiance. She's very, very sweet.
Absolutely.
And this was a good discussion.
I enjoyed it.